Have you ever spent hours in the gym sculpting your exterior, only to find that your inner voice still whispers, "You're still not good enough"? Yeah, me too. It's like spending months fixing your house, only to realize the foundation is still cracked. Today, we're going to talk about a very frustrating and revealing part of personal growth: the feeling of inadequacy. But first, hi, welcome to the Wolverine Lifestyle Podcast, where personal growth meets deep thought and introspection. I am your host, Dillon Andres, and in this episode, we are exploring my personal journey through the journal prompt, addressing feelings of inadequacy. When do you feel inadequate? How does this feeling connect to past experiences? In today's episode, I'll share my own struggles with inadequacy, from body image to finances to self-worth. More importantly, we'll break down why personal growth isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Even though there's too many people out there that think it is. Anyways, because trust me, I learned the hard way that healing one part of yourself doesn't automatically fix the others. If you ever felt like you should have it all together by now, or that you're constantly chasing an unattainable version of success, stick around. You're not alone in this journey. Throughout my life, there have been a few areas where I've felt deeply inadequate. Some areas hit harder than others, and just when I thought I had conquered one insecurity, another one would creep in. It was like playing whack-a-mole with my self-worth and self-esteem. For me, these feelings of inadequacy revolved around three big areas. There are more, but we're going to focus on these three. The first one, my physical appearance. Growing up, I was bullied for my weight pretty harshly, and I carried that shame for years, believing that if I just finally got into shape, if I just had that six-pack, everything else would fall into place. The second one, my finances. No matter how much I earned, I never felt like it was enough. There was always this voice in the back of my head whispering, "You should be farther along by now." Yep, and sometimes it's still there. And the third one, my capabilities. I doubted myself. Even when I achieved success, got an award or anything like that, I felt like an imposter, like I didn't truly deserve it. Here's what I didn't realize for the longest time, however. Each of these feelings of inadequacy had roots in past experiences. Whenever I felt insecure about money, my mind would flash back to moments in childhood when I saw my parents struggling financially. When I felt unworthy of success, I'd remember all the times I was told or made to believe I wasn't good enough. I want you to think about the last time you felt inadequate. Can you trace that feeling back to a past experience? How does it connect to a belief you hold about yourself right now, today? I used to think personal growth was kind of like an umbrella. We fix one thing and everything else just magically gets better and falls into place. But it doesn't really work that way now, does it? One of my biggest breakthroughs came after years of hitting the weights and trying to lose all of that weight I was bullied for. I worked my ass off, let me tell you. Pretty sure I was sweating blood at one point. I went from being the fat kid who got constantly bullied to having a six-pack in my late 20s. And I thought to myself, this is it. This is the moment I'll finally feel confident, secure, whole, complete, adequate, whatever you want to describe it as. But guess what? I still felt like garbage. And that was a slap in the face. Here I was in the best shape of my life, and I still felt inadequate. Why? Because I only addressed one piece of the puzzle, my body. I hadn't touched on the deeper issues. I didn't remove the roots of the insecurity for why I was in the gym in the first place. My struggles with money. My struggles with money and self-worth were still there, still lurking in the shadows, waiting to remind me that I wasn't enough. And that's when I realized that personal growth isn't about fixing one thing. It's about continually peeling layers back, one at a time, and addressing each insecurity individually. Essentially, unlearning what the world taught me about me, because every lesson that I have learned thus far was through the lens or filter of fear. Think about a time when you achieved something you thought would change everything in your life, and then it didn't. What was still missing for you? And when that realization for you comes up, what do you do when you realize that one breakthrough isn't enough? We keep going. On my journey, I started shifting my mindset. Instead of seeing personal growth as a destination, as an end goal, I embraced it as a lifelong practice. Hence why I am still here and still doing it. For example, when I tackled my body image issues, I thought I was done. But then I realized I still had a toxic relationship with money. So I started diving deep into financial literacy and emotional healing around abundance. And when I thought I had that figured out, or at least closer to the mark, because I'm still working on that today, I realized I still had to work on my self-worth in how I show up for myself and others. Each of these breakthroughs led to another area that needed attention. And rather than getting frustrated, I learned to embrace it, enjoy the ride, to simply observe life, to not take anything on as an identity, because every time I peeled back another layer, I got closer to the core of who I really am. And who I am seemingly keeps changing as I get older and wiser and learn more, just as the same for you. So let's talk some practical steps. How do we actually work through feelings of inadequacy? Here are a few things that helped me. The first one, identify the root cause. Journal about your feelings of inadequacy. Where did they start? What past experiences shaped them? The second one, tackle each insecurity individually. Don't lump all of your self-worth issues into one basket. Address body image, finances, and self-belief separately, if these are three things that you are currently going through yourself. Because even though they might be a similar feeling, they are all separate. The third one, reframe your thoughts. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, start saying, I am constantly growing and improving. Look, I get it. I know this can sound and feel corny, but trust me, it does get better. Eventually, with time, you'll train your brain to look for evidence to support this new belief. As corny as it is, just please trust me on that one. And the next one is find the right tools for each area. Therapy, financial coaching, fitness coaching, mindset coaching. Different problems require different solutions. Albert Einstein said it best. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. This means we must ask for help or guidance when necessary. And it's probably necessary. Our ego does not like to feel vulnerable. This means we can't have this inner dialogue trying to convince ourselves that we are both right and wrong at the same time. So please, just ask for help if you need it. And the last one, accept that growth is ongoing. There is no finish line, and that's okay. You're allowed to be a work in progress. I personally call it being a student of life. I want you to take 5 minutes today. Journal about one area where you feel inadequate, and then list one small action you can do today to address it and move forward through it. To wrap things up, I want you to remember this. You are not defined solely by your insecurities. You are the sum of all of your efforts to grow, heal, and move forward. Yes, I still have my moments of doubt. Yes, I still uncover new layers of insecurities, almost daily, but I also recognize how far I've come, and I encourage you to do the same. As always, thank you for joining me for this episode of the Wolverine Lifestyle Podcast. If it resonated with you, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Share it with someone who might need it. It's the best way to get this message out there. And if you're ready to take a step further into your own self-exploration journey, grab my free ebook, 30 Days to Know Yourself. The link will be in the show notes along with all of the rest of my links to the rest of my socials and resources. Until next time, remember, keep peeling those layers back. Embrace every single part of you. They're the parts that come together to make you who you are today. You are exactly where you need to be. There is nowhere else you should be other than right here, right now. And I hope truly, deeply from the bottom of my heart that you are as proud of you as I am.